What's up today? It's Joe Bernstein, dropthearmor.com, and I want to share some thoughts right now. I have been inspired. So last night I got the extraordinary privilege of going to see the profound author Brene Brown speak live here in DC. And she's freaking amazing. You probably are familiar with her from her TED Talk. She has one of the top 5 most viewed TED Talk videos of all time with over 20 million views, with the power of vulnerability. She has a second TED Talk talking about shame that actually has over 5 million views, and she's written some amazing books. The Gift of Imperfection, Daring Greatly, and just released is Rising Strong. So her latest research was actually about people who are able to get up and be bigger and better than they were before some major failure, some major fall. In her research, she's found that if you're going to shoot for a big, bold life, if you're going to live a daring life, a brave life, a life of love, of passion, if you're going to build your own business, if you're going to be an artist of some sort, an author, blogger, whatever you may be, a photographer, if you're just going to be a badass mom or lover or, family member of some sort, inevitably, you're going to take risk and you're going to be vulnerable and you're going to get hurt. You're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to experience the pain that comes with challenging yourself, that comes with being vulnerable. So her latest research and her latest book is about how to rise up from that. And really what the research shows her about people who are capable of rising up from their greatest failures, their greatest challenges. And I just love the concept of understanding that and applying that. I believe that one of the best things that ever happened to me was growing up obese. Without that consistent failure, without that consistent shame, without that consistent pressure on me, the pain and suffering that I went through, there's no way I would have been able to change my life and challenge myself to do something bold and big and take such risk and to grow so much. The other big thing that I got up from is divorce. I got separated from my first marriage young. My only marriage so far, but I got separated young at 31 years old. And at that point, I could have easily called myself a failure and just thrown in the towel and been scarred by love. But I did the opposite. I somehow found a place in me that figured out how to really get the love that I always wanted and to be the man that I've always wanted to be. And it's been a big springboard and a big catalyst for my growth in every way, shape, or form of my life, right? So I'm passionate about the idea of falling and getting back up and having it be the catalyst for change that you've always wanted. So some of the things that she found in the research I wanted to touch on. So one, she said that the people who are always capable of rising from challenge they were proficient at 2 things. They were solid at 2 things always. One of those things was mindfulness. So mindfulness, not in the sense that they meditate all the time or in the sense that they walk down the street and are paying attention to the feel of the breeze, flowing through your arm hairs and the sun hitting the back of your neck and the sound of the birds and smell of flowers. I love that shit. I'm a big fan of that. I am huge on taking that approach to mindfulness. I love it. Actually, one of my most joyful experiences of my life was recently doing exactly that, walking through an aquatic garden and just being super mindful of the situation. That brought me joy. But that's not the type of mindfulness that's going to help us change and grow and get back up from failure. Mindfulness, as the way she explains it, is just being aware, just being in tune, and just having the ability to understand your thoughts, your feelings, to be able to navigate your emotions without letting them take over, without letting them be in the driver's seat. So that's a big challenge, and that's one of the things that I'm specializing in right now with my coaching clients. No matter what they come to me for, it's about creating mindfulness in their life, and it doesn't mean they have to go sit and meditate every day for the next 30 days. It does mean that I'm asking them to do some sort of physical challenge or spiritual challenge or eating behavior and that they journal about it, that they stop and recognize their feelings in the moment, right? So mindfulness was one of the big things she talked about. One of the other big things she talked about was breathing. And she had a great story about it where she went to, she got these yoga instructors together and asked them about breathing. And they talked about the box breath where you hold, or you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. And she also went to great military leaders in our time right now, and they told her it was all about emotion. It was not about compartmentalizing and ignoring emotion. Their success relied on their ability to navigate emotion, and how they handle it, breathing. They called it tactical breathing, but it was the exact same thing. 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds. 4 seconds out, hold for 4 seconds. So breath and mindfulness are going to be integral into developing the skills you need to get back up from whatever challenge it is that you have faced in your life. Maybe it's you've gained a bunch of weight and you want to get back in shape. Maybe it's you've had a big breakup and you're just crushed right now and you want to find a way to love yourself again and to let love flow into your life, to not have bitterness against the people in your life that you love, whether that be the opposite sex or same sex. Maybe it's professionally. Maybe you've taken a big fall professionally. It's one of my clients right now is dealing with that. And we're going to work on integrating breath into your life, integrating mindfulness into your life. The other thing that she touched upon that I loved was the idea that we have a tendency to react. We are neurobiologically hardwired to keep ourselves safe. And one of the ways we keep ourselves safe is we create stories about things in our mind. So example of a story might be that, let's say I come home and I come home from the gym and I walk in and I say, hey, what's going on? My girlfriend's here. And she is just face down in her tablet, barely acknowledges me and looks up. So I start to create a story. What the fuck is going on in her mind right now? Why does she have to ignore me? We are definitely drifting apart right here. There's something going on. Maybe there's something happening in her life I don't know about that she's not willing to tell me. Maybe she's procrastinating on some big decision that affects both of us. Or maybe she's pissed off at me and I have to figure out the mystery of why, right? So that's a story I create in my head. And the reality is, if I stop and ask her, which I did, this happened just recently, and I did, and she just said, I got to hurry, I got to go to physical therapy, then I go to the gym, and then I've got the stuff in my mind, and 4 people are texting me, and someone sent me an email from work, and that's all there was to it. Sure, I was able to express, you know what, I hear that, and I value that you're willing to tell me that, and it also makes me feel shitty when you don't look up and acknowledge me. So that's the way we institute communication. But if I just attached to that old story, I could have let it spiral out of control and totally rampage my day, and I could have let it affect my relationship, right? So Brene Brown called it the SFD, or shitty first draft, and this theory that all great writers always start with a shitty first draft, and then they have to go back to basics. So she talked about just knowing it and labeling that it's the SFD, the shitty first draft. So I want you to be mindful. Become mindful. Learn to become mindful of your shitty first drafts and the stories they're telling you. Become inquisitive. Be curious about the reality behind what's happening here. Question that shitty first draft. Some self-coaching you can do is, the first one, work of Byron Katie, I love. Is that true? Is this story true? Can I be sure it's true, right? What else? Why could this be happening? Why could this be happening is just a big question. What emotion am I feeling that's attached to this story? What came up in my body, in my mind, in my gut before I created this SFD, this shitty first draft? And a really cool tactic I learned from her that I want to share was the idea that people who do great at rising strong, as her new book is titled, and coming back from failure, and just navigating life with success, is they write down their shitty first draft. They do some journaling exercises. They write it down, and that helps them see how unrealistic it is. That helps them respond with maturity instead of react based from emotion. So I want you to be mindful of your shitty first draft, whatever that story may be, and I want you to bring some awareness to it. Ask yourself if it's true. Stop for a second. Get the reality. If it involves another person, get the reality. Look at other stories that could be created. Challenge yourself to create 3 or 4 more stories and choose which one you want to buy into. Knowing that in the long run, not any of them may be true, but that the first one is always based on some survival instinct to keep ourselves safe. And a lot of the time, keeping ourselves safe from a survival instinct is buying into fear. And we can't live our lives that way. If you've read my stuff, you definitely know that I'm all about the idea of we always have a choice between love and fear. We also always have an opportunity to look and ask ourselves, am I thinking this? Am I doing this? Am I making this decision based in love or based in fear? So those are just some thoughts I had from what came up last night in the amazing talk by the amazing author and researcher, Brene Brown. And I just wanted to share that with my Drop the Armor squad, my tribe today. So if you'd like to touch base on this, let me know. You can email me at dropthearmor.com, you can go to dropthearmor.com. You can email me at joe@dropthearmor.com. And like I've mentioned before, I am right now. I would love to connect with people who are interested in coaching. I'm giving away 2 free 45-minute sessions to anybody who's interested. I'm not putting a cap on how many people can take me up on that offer. And if it works for you, if you find the experience of creating some inquiry around your shitty first drafts and about the challenges that are present in your life, the obstacles that you have the extraordinary gift of the ability to overcome, if you want to find out what's inside of you, how you're going to become capable of making the changes in your life to become healthier, happier, more mindful, more aware, learn to breathe a little bit, more conscious to what you're doing with your nutrition and your movement and your exercise in the world. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm passionate about. I would love for you to just connect with me about that. Drop me some feedback on Facebook or on my blog, dropthearmor.com. Thank you for listening. I'm out.